Let's do that one again. And 1. Hello musicians, welcome. Let's jump right in. All right, there are two types of runs that we do with both of our hands. There is the run with two hands, and then there is the two-handed run. All right, so let me explain what I mean. The run with two hands is a line that we play, a single line that we play with two hands. Stuff like this. All right, and you've heard that that kind of thing happen. Like Chick Corea is a big, he does it a lot. And as you can see, that is a single line that I'm playing with two hands. Like the first two notes on my left hand, then the rest like that. And I have a video coming out about this kind of run with two hands. But today's video is about two-handed runs. That's where both hands are playing the same amount of notes. So, for example, all right, so that's where both hands are playing a line, similar line, maybe not the exact same notes, but the same amount of notes. Now, as a bonus to you, I'm going to do a breakdown of that move I just did, but I'm going to do it at the end of this video. So if you want the breakdown of that move, make sure you watch until the end, because I want to go ahead and get into the lesson right now. Also, if you read music, I've created a free downloadable PDF that covers the runs we're getting ready to go over in every key with the fingering, which is the hard part, because these runs will trip you up if you don't have your fingering solid. So I've included the fingering for you, and it's free. So just click the link in the description box and download this free PDF. All right, so let's get into the three that we are going to cover today. So one of my favorite scales to use in two-handed runs is the pentatonic scale in thirds. So the pentatonic scale is made up of 5 notes. The first, second, third, fifth, and sixth scale degree of the major scale. So you basically take the major scale and remove the fourth and the seventh, and that's what you're left with. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. And penta meaning 5, so you know it's a 5-note scale. So if I'm in the key of A flat, the pentatonic scale would be A flat, B flat, C, E flat, F, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to have both hands play the A flat major pentatonic scale. But here's where it gets interesting. Instead of playing it like that, which is, you can play it like that, but instead of doing it like that, so what we're going to do is play the A flat major scale in thirds. Now thirds is kind of a misnomer. Third meaning every other note of the scale, not so much an interval, because the pentatonic scale has intervals of thirds, fourths. But so let me show you what I mean. If my left hand starts on A flat, my right hand's going to skip the next note and start on the C, which in this case happens to be a third. But you'll see that interval doesn't remain consistent in the third. All right, so then we go up to the next one. My left hand's on, and my right hand goes to the E flat. So that's the fourth there. Now on the next note, skip a note. Here we go. So when my left hand is on E flat, my right hand's going to be on A flat. Skip the F, A flat. So my left hand's on F, my right hand's on B flat. And then we back at the beginning again. So we get this. So right hand, my left hand. So this is where we get to kind of in thirds. And the great thing about the pentatonic scale is that it works over any chord in the key. So we're in the key of A flat, so it's going to work over any chord in the key. So let's do a 2-5-1 to F minor. So we're going to do a 2-5 like G minor 7, maybe a 5-5 in there. Maybe sometimes. C7, we'll do C7 with some sharp 9, sharp 5, or maybe flat 9, flat 5. Then we'll go to F minor, right? And we'll do it over a groove. And when I get to this F minor, I think I'm going to do that pentatonic scale in thirds. Do that one again, and 1. All right, another one of my favorite scales is the diminished scale. I use this scale all the time. It's one of my favorites. And so much harmony also is derived from it. It's incredible. But let's jump into it. Okay, so the diminished scale is made up of half steps and whole steps alternating. And so let's say if we were playing E diminished, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, like that. Really nice sound. Now, a lot of y'all learn the diminished scale half step, whole step, and that's the way I think of it, right? But it just means you have to start in a different spot. So that's, if I'm thinking just E diminished, I would think whole step, half step. But I never think just diminished personally. I always think from the dominant chord. So let's see if I'm going to F minor. E diminished gets me to F minor, true. But also C7 gets me to F minor. So in my head, I think C7, even though I'm playing diminished. And so I'll start on the C and go half step, whole. So half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Like that. And it's the same scale as this one. Just starting in a different spot. Right? Alright, so however you think of it, whole step, half step, or half step, whole step. It's the same scale, just starting in a different spot. I personally like to think half whole and always think of the dominant. So that's just how it just works right in my brain. Alright, but enough of that. Let's get into it. So what I like to do is do the diminished scale in thirds. So what does that mean? Let's say I start on the scale. Let's say I start on C. Well, I like to do it differently, actually. I start on C with my left and right hand. Then I like to bring my left hand in like a moment later. So I'm going to go up the scale. And once I get a third away, I bring my left hand in and just continue up like that. Alright, so that's interesting. Now I could start both hands at the same time, just going. But I like to start one and then bring the second one in. So, in every key, there's only 3 diminished scales basically, so there's only 3 to learn with this technique. But let's show you in that same example using a G minor to C7 to F minor. Here we go. Alright, So let's go back again. Right here on this. That's diminished with one hand. Over time. Listen, if you are curious about improving your improvisation skills using the pentatonic scale or the diminished scale that we've been covering so far in this video, I'm going to put a little eye, a little card that'll pop up. It'll say eye. Click that eye, and that'll take you to a video I created that goes deep, like in depth, about those two scales and an additional one, the melodic minor scale, and how to use those to create fantastic improvisations. Now, the last scale I want to talk about is the major scale. Now, hold on. This might be the most interesting of them all, so just hold your horses. I know you're like, major scale, what? All right. Now, I was watching a video of Taylor Eichstein, who was a jazz piano genius. He was considered a prodigy as a child, and by the age of 15, he was teaching at the Stanford Jazz Workshop at Stanford University as one of the faculty at 15. He's incredible. He's older now, but incredible. One of the guys that I study as a jazz musician. So I was watching this clip, and he ripped off this incredible two-handed run, and I want to show it to you. Right. All right. So I was like, that has to be some weird scale that he's doing. Like, I was like, what is he playing? And so that's where this is inspired from. Now, I'm not going to give you the exact notes he did. He actually, at the very top, I think he kind of switched scales a bit. But for the most of that, it was one particular scale. So he was using the D flat major scale. But instead of doing it in thirds like we've done the previous two scales, he did it in fourths. So let's look at the D flat major scale. Right? And so if you start in fourth, so the left hand's on D flat, but the right hand's going to be a fourth up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And we have this. And instead of starting on D flat on the root, let's start on the seventh. Let's start a half step below so we get this sound. Right here. All right, that scale. So all of a sudden, this major scale goes from sounding boring, just kind of, to this really kind of, I don't know, Arabic, Spanish, Latin kind of sound. Really interesting. Gypsy kind of. All right. So that's in D flat. Let's put it in A flat. And that's because that's the scale we've been using this entire time. Or key. That's the key we've been using this entire time. So I'll put my left hand on the 7th degree of A flat. So A flat major scale. So the A flat major scale. So I'll put my on the 7th scale degree. And my right hand on the 3rd. So we're in fourths, you see? And so let's go back to our groove here and see what happens. All right, yes, as you can see, we can have a lot of fun with those scales. All right, so make sure you grab the free PDF, the free downloadable PDF in every key with the fingering. That's going to really help you as you try to figure out these lines and work these lines in every key. Also, we are super excited about reaching 100,000 subscribers. That's a big milestone for us. And so make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell icon as well so you stay notified of our latest posts. Lastly, comment your suggestions below for new videos. We want to make the videos that you want to see. So definitely comment your suggestions below. All right, so until the next one, be blessed and happy practice. So and I'll show you that one real quickly. I'm doing like a G minor as I'm thinking. So in my left hand, I got the 1, 3, 5, 7 of G minor. In my right hand, 3, 5, 7, 9. Right, so, and then we're going to basically like a C flat 9 sharp 5 kind of thing. Maybe even yeah, maybe even sharp. So C alter basically. So. And then I'm going to precede F by 2 half steps. So I'm going to go E flat, E, F.